Hello everyone, welcome back to another video at Round 3 Design. Today I have the third edition of the Year of Shaker cards. This is for March, and I obviously went St. Patrick's theme here. And I know that this is coming up after St. Patrick's Day, but we've had quite the interesting few months here already this year, so please pardon my lateness. The first thing I've got here is my shaker bits. It's got all sorts of greens and golds and white. And then I've got my images. There's a few shamrocks, another circle shamrock, some phrases and banners that many options that you can do here. This is the background that's pre-stamped, and the cover, which it has a whole bunch of speech bubbles cut out of it. And you can put this really in vertically or horizontally, whichever way you want to do it, but I decided to go vertically today. There's my card base, and in my hand I've got my acetate sheet there. So I'm going to start by putting 1/8 inch score tape along all four of the edges and a few bits in the center. I've only put the few bits in the center so it doesn't bubble away from the acetate when it's all together. Just it helps it have a bit of a cleaner look so there's no gapping. And then I'm going to remove the liner from the adhesive, and it takes me a couple tries to line this up, and I still don't line it up perfectly because I'm human. So I'll take my X-Acto knife and just trim off the edges here. When I'm trimming like this, because I'm not using a ruler or a hard edge, I'm using a very light hand and doing smaller strokes than you would normally do. So it's smaller cuts, lighter hand, and doing it multiple times makes it so it's easier and you're not accidentally cutting into the frame. So I'm just lining this up, making sure that this is the way I want to go. And I kind of fuss a bit, not sure which. I don't want the focal point to be one of the background phrases, so I'm going to put one on top. I wasn't sure which way I was going to go yet, so I'm going to pull out my 3M foam tape and start with that. Today I'm using the 1/2 inch width foam tape, and I just measured out the length that I need. I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise so that I get 2 1/4 inch pieces, and I'll stack those on top of each other, which give me the depth that I need for the shaker bits to move around. It gives them more room to shake. Then I'll take that piece and cut it in half again to make 2 1/8 inch pieces, which covers both my sides, and it fits perfectly. You can see I cut it a little bit longer, and I'll trim off the end here. I like to make them a little bit longer so that I don't have to piece in little pieces. I'd rather cut off a little bit and throw it away rather than having to fit in smaller pieces. And then I will do the same for the side pieces, or the top and bottom pieces is what it ends up being. And again, I've cut it a little bit longer so that as it fits in the side, you'll see here, I'm cutting it into the 1/8 inch bits. And then as I put it on, I'll cut it still just a tiny bit longer than it actually needs to be. And then I will squish it in there and make sure that everything is nice and tight, and then I don't get any gaps or openings that the shaker bits can fall through. So there's that all done, and you can see that the cover does not line up with the stamping either direction. It is one way only, so it's really easy to line up. I'm going to pour out a little bit of my shaker bits here, and then I decided there wasn't enough distribution of everything, so I poured everything back in the bag, gave it a good shake, and then poured it back out, and that gives me a better distribution of all of the bits. Then I'm going to bring out my powder tool and put that on the inside of the acetate. That keeps most things from sticking to it. Some bits will still stick to it, but that's fine. And then around the edges of the foam tape that I don't want anything to stick into. So I've pulled off my liner, and I'm going to line it all up, make sure that I can see everything through the speech bubbles, and press down real hard, make sure everything's sealed, and there we go. Good shake. I do have overhang on all of the edges, which is good because I don't want underhang. We don't want it to be too small. So I'm just going to trim the excess off here, and I'm just lining it up. This is the Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer from Tonic, the 8.5 inch size. I'm just lining the edge up against the metal on the outside, and there we go. You can see they were just tiny little slivers, so it's not that big of a deal if you don't cut those off. Now I've pulled out my die cut and bond adhesive from Art Deco Creations, and I just cut off a 4-inch piece to put on the back. I find that it's much easier than trying to use any other adhesive for large pieces. And I've just stuck that on my card base. And now here is where I finally make a decision about my greeting. And you can do whatever combination you would like here. There's plenty of things to do. There you can put it on the inside or the outside, leave the front plain, or add a greeting like I did. And I really liked the look of this round on top of all of the squarish images. So I'm going to go with the round shamrock and the top of the morning banner. I've just put some score tape on the back of that, and we'll line that up together. And then I can use my tweezers to put that on top exactly where I want it to be. And that does it for this card. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.